Hey, everybody. So happy that you are here with me this evening, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. I know a little off my normal time, but I want to talk about some things that I think are very important that are happening in New York City, New York State, but also going to affect us kind of across the country. The idea of us opening up, repairing ourselves, coming back from the lockdowns and all those things. And the number one thing I have to bring up, something that I bring up constantly, is the damage that's been done. The damage that's been done that we will keep saying, the damage is done by COVID. I hear that constantly. And I want to be very clear on this. COVID is real. Of course it is. And what it does, for those of you who are confused or don't get it, what COVID actually does is hurt and kill people. It does that. Most of the people that it hurts and kills are those over 60 with pre-existing conditions. That's not only, but that's the majority. Most of the people are in that realm. Outside of that realm, for most people, it's not that deadly, but for those, it's very deadly. That's what it does. It hurts and kills people. Does COVID shut down businesses? No. Does it fire people? No. Does it destroy our supply chain? No. Does it shut down schools? No. Does it make it so that certain people can't go to the hospital so they wind up dying of something else because they can't get the other things they want, the screenings they want? No. It doesn't do any of those things. It hurts and kills people, and in a certain demographic, it devastates a certain demographic. That's what it does. Only government can do those other things. And it did. I want to be clear on this. The wounds that we are healing, that we have to heal economically, socially, all those things, that's not from COVID. No. The people that we've lost, specifically our parents and grandparents, that's from COVID. The damage that's been done to us economically, socially, to our children, to our schools, to our culture, that damage, oh, that was government. So let's be clear about those two separate things. And government likes to blame everything on COVID because then they're not responsible, right? Then they're bad and poor governing. It's irrelevant because COVID. No. Government's response to COVID is doing the damage we have to recover from. The damage of COVID, that's family members who've lost someone who have to grieve and deal with that pain. That's not government. That's not our culture. That's individual families grieving people who've passed. That's real. But that's not government. I don't help when it comes to that, except maybe I'll leave you alone or give you my condolences if you've lost someone. That's all I can do. But when it comes to government, that's different. And I'm bringing this up because now we're finally starting to talk about the concept and the ideas of how we can come back, right? How we can now begin to come back from this. And my mayor is trying to act like he's the next president of the United States or something. He thinks he's a better Cuomo. He's not. But he thinks he is. And he's giving daily briefings and such. And I want to be clear. Why do people tend to like the kinds of things that my mayor says? It's because they sound good. This is important and it matters. And let me show you a little bit of what he said. And you'll see where I'm going with this, right? You'll get exactly why I'm saying it. It does sound nice. It really does.
Every day we talk about our recovery as a city, a recovery for all of us. And that means not only coming back stronger, coming back in a way that is more fair, more inclusive, that reaches people who weren't reached before.
Now, doesn't that sound good? Coming back in a way that's more inclusive. Sounds amazing. Reaching people who weren't reached before. Sounds amazing. I like the way that sounds. What I would ask, though, is what does it actually mean for him? And that's the issue. You're going to see in a moment what he's talking about.
We've got to look at some of the tough realities out there.
Yep, there are
some. And one of the most painful realities that our cities face now for years is what happens to some of our young people.
What's been happening for years. See, he said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, you've been mayor for 8 years, and the bad stuff's been happening for years prior to COVID.
people from the LGBTQ community who are rejected, in too many cases, rejected by their families. This is something Shirley and I have talked about. We are pained by it. We do not understand it. We don't understand how any parent or any family could send away.
So let me be clear about this. Some people get mad when they hear this. You shouldn't, because he's right. This is a real problem. Many people who are part of the LGBT community, the gender and sexual minorities community, GSM community, many of them get rejected by their family and or their communities. That's not an uncommon thing, right? That happens. It isn't just families. What if you're part of, say, an Orthodox Jewish community? You get thrown out. What if you're part of any type of heavily religious community? You get thrown out. You don't just lose your family, you lose your entire community. It's true. It's what he's saying is correct. It's a problem. By percentage, you find more people in that group being affected by that. It's true. But that was true before COVID, wasn't it? That's been true for years. If anything, by our culture, it's less true now, right? Because by our culture, more people are more accepting than ever, right? So culturally, it's less difficult than it's been in the past. It was far harder in the past, right? Still, please, if someone is in that community, understand, I'm not saying it's easy for you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as a demographic, it is easier than it has been. That's all I'm saying. But it's still bad. He's right. But that's not COVID. So what is he actually doing? Using COVID as a way of dealing with this. That's what he's actually doing. Oh, I now have an excuse to spend government dollars on a specialized group that I can get votes from. Yes, I'm not making that up. That's what he's actually doing. People won't say anything now because COVID, so I can now pander to a group of people and get their votes.
Their own child because they don't agree with who they are. It just doesn't make sense. There should be that unconditional love. But it doesn't happen sometimes. And kids, teenagers, young people end up on the streets of our city.
He's right.
And too often, runaways, homeless, without help, with nowhere to turn for years.
So, yes, he's right. So my idea would be, without question, help the homeless, right? You can actually have equity without quota systems. Help the homeless, and you will by default help more people from this demographic. You don't have to by default just go, oh yeah, pick these people.
Now, we have been working on solutions. We've been working on a way to embrace and support these young people. And that's where the Unity Project comes in. This has been something that has been an act of love, an act of faith.
Now, this part, again, I want to be clear on this. That part's true. Again, he's not lying here. This part is true, right? There are a lot of people who really care about that demographic, that group of people, that population, and they want to help. I do too. To be forward, I do also. But his idea is completely wrong.
To help these young people, and we're making another big step with the Unity Project today. I want you to hear from the founder and the heart and soul of the Unity Project.
Who's that?
And she happens to be our First Lady.
She happens to be your wife, who lost literally $800,000, $800,000, right? $800,000, who lost $800,000, just lost it. This is the woman he put in charge. Oh yeah, let's see, you lost that. So your reward for just losing $800,000 is this.
Thank you, Bill. And good morning, everyone. I am so thrilled to celebrate the launch of this history-making program.
This is history.
This was a long time coming, but we...
Again, she's right, a long time coming. But you couldn't get it passed before because there wasn't COVID. See, so many people tell me, they say, Larry, oh my God, you know, these are people who are creating some kind of massive conspiracy. No, I think they're just waiting for the thing to happen. Then they extend their plans.
Finally got here. Last Wednesday, I spoke at the official launch of Unity Works at the Ali Forney Center. They've been such an incredible partner. And
now, look at this. A partner. Unity Works is a partner. They're not a partner. This is what she's, look right here. $3 million in funding for workforce training, educational opportunities, and mentorship for LGBTQ homeless youth. This is a giveaway. This is a grift. This is literally a grift. I'm not making that up. Look at it. Here is $3 million of New York City taxpayer dollars going to a nonprofit to help specifically LGBTQ homeless youth workforce training and education opportunities. You're going to start paying them. You're paying people to do this. Now, I'm not against at all, please. This is a real problem. And Unity Works, I'm sure the people in Unity Works are trying their best to do exactly what they think is right for their communities they care about. I think that's true. My question is only one thing. Why are you throwing taxpayer dollars at it? But I'll go one step further. Now that you shouldn't just throw taxpayer dollars at it, why are you leading your press conference with this? Have you seen our city? Have you seen our state? It's a ghost town. There are how many stores out of business? How many places are broken? And your answer is our number one priority is giving $3 million of taxpayer dollars to a nonprofit. So basically, it's a government agency. It's a government agency without government employees. So you get to give out all this without them being unionized. So you get a non-unionized labor force to do whatever you say. You give them money, strings attached. You control them. So government strings to service a specific community that you know will vote for you in the future. This literally is the face of government grift. This is what it's about. I am so unhappy with this because they're right. And that's my point. They're right. This is a problem, but you can fix it without government grift. That's what I keep bringing up. This is an issue I talk about. Can you make the left in America happy? You can. Can you make the left in New York State happy? You can. And you do it by actually trying to solve a problem without using government grift. If you don't use government grift, the vast majority of New Yorkers wouldn't care. They wouldn't be upset about this. Imagine if instead you heard, I don't know, in a newspaper or something, that this group, Unity Works, was raising money so they could help people who are in the GSM or LGBTQ community. You'd be like, oh, that's great. If you don't care about that community, you go off to work, whatever. If you care about that community, you write them a check or give them your credit card because you care about that community. Awesome. If you heard DeBlasio go on TV and talk about it, hey, I care about these people. It matters to me. If you guys want to know what's going on, here they are. Support them if you want because I care about this community. Yeah, no problem. Again, you're not forcing me to do anything. You're telling me there's an opportunity for me, for those who care about this community. I can support them if I want to. I can give them money or I can show up and assist. I can do some training. Why does that matter? And why? Because I dealt with this in a community that I care about, veterans. Now, not that I don't care about this community, but we all can't love every community and care about every community. It's impossible. We have to divvy up our time. And I chose several years ago, and I've still been doing it, to support veterans. That was my group that I supported. I tried going to the VA. It was a disaster. The strings attached were terrible. It was ineffective. People wouldn't show. It was terrible. So I went through nonprofits and eventually through colleges. And I gave my services for free. I'm not saying you should. I did. And I trained veterans for free. Why? Because I cared. That was a community I cared about. I found out who was doing it, and I went and I helped them out. I used different groups like Yellow Ribbon Fund. I went to different colleges, and I just gave my time and my expertise for free. People pay, as you can see, I'm a consultant. People pay me lots of money to train them, and I trained the veterans for free. That's what I did. You should be able to do that if you want to. And if you care about the community, you should. That's it. You should. But who would I be to decide taxpayer dollars got to go to the people that I care about? Why should your taxpayer dollars go to people I care about? You know whose money should go to who I care about? Mine. I know it sounds crazy, but that's an issue that we're having now. I want to set up a world to where communities can help. But there's another piece here that people aren't getting. That $3 million that Unity Works gets. While you do that, you give them money, it might help some people. It might. I mean, sometimes government programs do help some people. Overall, they don't. But can individuals be helped? Sure. Happens all the time. So maybe it will help some people. The problem is now when Unity Works does it, whatever they learn, whatever they decide, does it get passed on? No. Because the people who decide success are the government. Their check boxes is what matters. Can they go off and do more? Now, not that the government's saying yes. That's the problem. But if we had instead supported local communities, and you've heard me say this before, and I'll bring it up again. One of my policies I talked about was the idea of anyone who's going to write a check to the government, to the state, for any amount of money, whatever it is, if they want to, they can take $250 of their own taxpayer dollars and instead send it to a nonprofit if they want to. If that nonprofit is in their county, it's doubled. You can send $500 to a nonprofit of your world, whatever you like. And you might go, Larry, what's $500? $500? What about when it's times 10,000? Or in New York City, times 100,000. That's a lot of money. There's 2.3 million people just in Brooklyn. Imagine New York City and a bunch of people start writing a $500 check. They don't write it, they say it, right? They let the government know that has to go to this. And then they decide. The government doesn't pick winners and losers. We do. We put our money where we think our money should go voluntarily. And if you don't want to do it, if you go, man, I love my government. I don't know why you would say that, but if you do, write your check to your government will do what it does and you'll love it, I guess, because you love government. It's fine. It's whatever. No accounting for taste. But in the best world, we are giving our money to groups that are having success. And if we were to do that, even in smaller counties in New York State that have 20,000, 40,000 people, if all of a sudden the money started going from the people, now they have to actually not check a box, but have successes. And it's the best part. If it's local, we'll join in. You know you would. You do it already. Those of you watching, those of you listening, you know you do it already. You show up at the place you donate to because you care. Or you wouldn't have given the money. You care. I know. I showed up. I showed up. I gave my time. I showed up. You would too. This is how you build a community. If you build a community, that's how people get their second chances. Here's the problem with workforce training. I would ask you, anyone watching, you're in my chat now, do me a favor. Do you know anybody who's gone through government workforce training that's got a job from it? You're going to be struggling. You're going to be struggling. It's not effective. You know who does not give people a second chance? Big business. They have systems that weed these people out. You know who actually gives people a second chance? Small business, entrepreneurs, local shops, because they know you and your family. That's the reason why. All of a sudden now, you would see people begin to give people a second chance. That's what I want. We could build that. We absolutely could. This is one of the reasons why I'm considering running for governor. It's why I'm talking about it all the time. That's why I'm doing this all the time. Guys, I hope that you want to support me in this. I'm showing you the difference. I'm trying to give you a clear difference in what I'm talking about and what everyone else is talking about. You might go, Larry, well, these guys are Democrats. Surely the Republicans talking about this. No, they're not either. And here's the worst part. My website, LarrySharpe.com, policies have been up since 2017. Anybody could have taken them. I asked people to. Have you guys seen one Republican take my policies? One Democrat take my policies? No. There's no rule. There's no reason, I should say. There's no reason for them to take my policies. Why bother? They can just yell, I'm not the other, and get elected. That's what I have to do. I'm not doing that. And I'm hoping you guys will do me a favor. Do me a favor and like, comment, and share. It does matter. Like, comment, and share. Let people know that I'm out here doing this. It does matter. And if you can support me, then support me now. LarrySharpe.com/donate. And I have what I think is great news. I hope you think it's great news too. I have a donor, the Honorable Judge Jim Gray, who I adore. I know some of you like him, some don't care. I don't care. I love him. And he has agreed to to match the first $2,500 up until Friday at noon. So if you give and donate up until Friday at noon, he will match $2,500 up to that. So it doesn't mean you have to give that much. If you've got that much to give, please give it if you do. But I know lots of people don't have that kind of money. It's fine, but it adds up. $20, $100, $50, whatever you got. If you donate, then he will match it. And now we're rocking and rolling. Well, Larry, why do you need so much cash? You talking about cash all of a sudden all the time. I am. The last 3 years, I hardly ever talk about cash. You know that. I'm saying throw me a couple bucks here if you want to keep going. That's all I said. I was raising money for other people, not for me, because they were all running. Well, now I'm in the game now. And I can't do the same thing I did last time. I've got to do way better. And sadly, whether we like it or not, that's about cash. I have to buy polling. That's $40,000, $50,000. I have to buy ads. That's $10,000, $15,000. It's big dollars. So I got to raise it or I can't play the game. And I want to play the game. In fact, I don't want to just play the game. I want to win the game. But let's say I don't. Let's say I play the game hard but don't win. But I played hard. If I play the game hard, people will see what I'm doing. And this time, they'll go to LarrySharpe.com and they'll take the ideas because people will like them. People will respond to them and we'll get some actual change. I hope that changes me. You know I want it to be. Me, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be punishing myself and going through this if I didn't want that. But maybe it's not. Okay. Then it's the next person or the person after me. I'm okay with that. Years ago, I was in Jersey and someone asked me, I said, Larry, what kind of archetype are you in a movie archetype? I said, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm the guy who goes up and fights the Emperor, fights Darth Vader, loses to Darth Vader, but in my loss, I am stronger and more powerful than ever, and I make sure the rebels win. I'm happy with that. Or I'm happy defeating Darth Vader myself. I'm happy either way. But if no one stands up to make this happen, nothing's going to happen. And you notice it's hard. You guys watched me do it before. It's going to be hard again. Please like, comment, and share. It does matter. If you can donate, please do so. It does matter. So I want to keep going. It's not just this. It's important, absolutely important, that in New York State specifically, we're able to get the right and the left together. That's important. They have to vote for us. They have to care about us. We have to make sure that there's real change in this state. And I think that will help the entire country. So let me talk about the right and then talk about the left. First, the right. Some of you know, some of you are happy, some of you are not happy. I've been making a bunch of phone calls, calling people because I've been asking how people think about this. And it's been surprisingly popular. I wasn't sure how popular it would be, but it's been surprisingly popular. I'm talking about running in the Republican primary. Now, people say, well, wait a minute, Larry, you're talking about running as a Republican. No, that's not how New York State works. For those who don't know, many of you do, but some of you don't. New York State has what's called fusion voting, which means I can literally run as libertarian, and still run a Republican primary. Now, you might say, Larry, why would I do that? A couple of reasons. One, if I run a Republican primary and I lose, I'm still libertarian and I still run. I'm libertarian and I run. It's the same thing. No change, I run. But what happened in that primary? Number one, I got a whole bunch of Republicans to actually see what I'm about and how I'm thinking. A whole lot more votes, a whole lot more change, a whole lot more power. Number one. Number two, I'll probably be in debates. I will devastate any Republican in debate. They have no chance against me whatsoever. They will be crushed. And I'll look very good in debates. So people will see me in debates. Good, you know, for the website, social media, everything. Lots of good change. Ideas come out. These kind of ideas will come out during debates. All good. Great. More importantly, what has Bernie Sanders done to the Democratic Party by running as a socialist? He's not a Democrat. He's a socialist. He runs in the Democratic primary as a socialist, not being a Democrat. He's moved the Democratic Party left. Everyone knows that. He's done that. Well, if I run a Republican primary, hopefully I will at least move the Libertarian Party more libertarian. More than most people have done. And I'm still a libertarian. I don't change my status. I'm still who I am. But what if I win? If I win the primary? If I win the primary, I get listed as Republican, conservative, and libertarian. All three of those. I get listed as three. Wow. Now I got a shot. Because all I have to do at that point is get about 25% of the Democrats and everybody else who would vote against them, and I'm actually the governor. It's a chance at actual victory. That's what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to run this in a different way. How do I make that? How do I get the Republicans to even care about that? Well, I do that by raising money. That's why I'm bugging you. That's the reason why. So if you want that to happen, if you like that concept, please, LarrySharpe.com/donate. Give what you can give. We have a $2,500 match from the Honorable Judge Jim Gray, who will take care of that and match up to $2,500 up to Friday at noon. But I'm still not done. What about the left? All right, the left. You guys know Andrew Yang has a forward party, former Democrat. What if I'm able to get that line also? What if I'm able to talk, get that line? Imagine if I can get the forward line. Now, I'm not saying he'll give it to me or he'll want to do it, but he needs somebody to get him a line. In New York State, you have to have a gubernatorial candidate to get a line. You have to get a governor candidate to get the line in New York State. That's how our laws work. There's no way around it. Can you think of another candidate who could get those signatures and then get those votes and get that line? I do. Me. If I get that one too. Republican, Libertarian, Conservative, forward. Forward is the way open to the left. Yang is a former Democrat, right? Yang's a former Democrat, which means it opens me up to the left. Now, Democrats can hear me too. Oh my God. Now we got a shot at people actually hearing our message and moving forward. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something big. And the best part is, if I lose everything, I don't get this, I don't get that, I get nothing. I'm still a libertarian running a libertarian line. Everything else is just a bonus. Everything else is just an amazing bonus that I could get to actually change this state. Because here's the reality in my state. And if you live in New York, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The next governor will either be the Democratic nominee or some outsider. Hopefully that outsider is me. That's it. Those are the only two options for governor next time. If the governor is the Democratic nominee, this state's finished. You know it, I know it. This is our timeline. This is our window right now that I'm trying to do this. This is our timeline. And this is why I'm trying to make it work. And I hope that makes sense. I want to grab a couple of comments before I move on. I want to show you something else. I'm going to grab a couple of comments. You guys, thank you guys in the chat for giving me so many comments. I appreciate it. I'm going to grab a couple of these. So Patricia says, excited you will be in my home county following the LPNY Freedom Summit. Yes, I am still traveling the state, guys. I haven't stopped, right? I do my full sharp. I cover every single county every single year. Of course, I actually will be in Staten Island tomorrow at the 120 Cafe, I think it's called. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, it's on the Facebook page. It's actually on my LarrySharpe.com. Click events, you'll see it. And then I'm in Nassau County on Thursday. So tomorrow I am in Staten Island, and then the next day I'm in Nassau County, 7 p.m. both days. So I will be there. Yes, absolutely. So Dan says the government response to COVID-19 was way deadlier than the virus itself. Agreed, particularly for our youth. Particularly for our youth. But yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. So Joey says there is no recovering from the disaster this administration created. Those people did all this on purpose. You know, Joey, I'm not sure that part's true, meaning the second part. The first part, you know, I understand your emotion. I do. There is recovery. It's just slow, and are we going to do it right or not? I mean, that's really the issue. One of the things to think about is locking people up for a year and a half changed how people think. It changed our habits. It changed our culture. It doesn't mean that it has to be for bad. It just means it's different. So we have to accept that and act accordingly. My worry is we won't. We're still worried about it. We just got to get people jobs in big companies. People don't want necessarily big jobs in big companies. People want different types of jobs, doing different types of things. But the people did it all on purpose. The part about this, Joey, I don't like what you just said, is these people. I'm not sure who you mean by people. The average person who is behind this stupidity isn't stupid, isn't evil, isn't mean. They believe they're doing the right thing. They're wrong, but they believe they're doing the right thing. There are people at the top who are doing bad things, if that makes any sense. And their goal is only one thing: power. That's it. But the average person, they feel righteous. Their intent is good. They are trying to help. They get what DeBlasio says. It says, yay, inclusive. They're falling for a line because they're desperate and or scared. So that's my issue on people, right? That's my issue right there. Yes. Dan says, so what does LGBTQ issues have to do with recovering from COVID? Yes, that's right, Dan. The problems that community has been dealing with they've been dealing with it for years, not just since COVID. You're completely correct. He continues, sounds like he just wanted a hook to introduce a whole new agenda. Yes, and yes. 100%. Yes. I wish you were wrong, Dan, but you're right. That's exactly correct. 100%. I love that. So, all right. Using taxpayer money to start running for governor. Ooh, Tom, very nice. You're right. That is exactly what he's. I hadn't thought of it in that way, but you're right. This is what I mean by running for office. And thank you for letting me bring this up. When I ran last time, I was literally the only person running out of 5 people who was not getting a government check. Everybody else was either retired, on pension, or actively working for the government, right? I mean, Cuomo, you were paying him. I was paying Cuomo to run, right? Everyone else running was being paid to run. I was the only one who was not taking a salary and was going a year and a half and doing 300 events and not getting paid. I was the only one doing that. People were like, Larry, why weren't you running in 2020? Because I was broke, because I was still getting money back, making my money back from 2018. How about that? So yeah, I wasn't getting a check. Everybody else was. Not me. I was the only one not getting it. I was getting my butt kicked, as many entrepreneurs do, right? Running for office is an establishment or a rich person's game. You're either part of the establishment, you're getting a check already, getting paid, right? Government's paying you already because you're currently in an office, as my mayor is getting paid by me and other people who pay his taxes. And now he's taking $3 million of our dollars and putting it into a specific community to get more votes for governor. You're correct, Tom. Well done. But I wasn't. I was just getting my butt kicked. And if I run again, I'm just gonna get my butt kicked again. But it's fine. Financially, I know what I'm doing. Like I'm not that I know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I'm aware of what I'm doing is a better way of saying I know what I'm doing. I'm aware of what I'm doing. Yes, absolutely. Ed says Wilhelm and his wife are both con artists. Yes, very effective con artists, though. I think that's true. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. What has COVID taught us? Stop developing biological weapons, maybe. Ryan, I'm going to go the opposite on this one. I'm going to go the opposite. I think what COVID has taught us is this is the way to take us down. If you're Iran or China or Russia, whatever enemy, insert enemy, why would you want to build nuclear weapons? We have more than you. You drop one on us, we'll drop more on you, and it's expensive and dangerous. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Develop a biological weapon. Give your own people whatever the anecdote or whatever the vaccine is, and then release it. We'll kill ourselves. We've proven that, Ryan. We'll destroy ourselves. We'll shut down our entire economy. We'll just do it for 2 years, and we'll create an environment to where we hate each other, which is the worst part of this. The worst part of this entire thing is actually not the shutdown. That's really bad. But the worst part is that it made all of our divisions even deeper. Even deeper. We made vaccines and mandates and COVID. We made everything political when none of it should have been. None of this should have been mandated. Everyone should have simply decided what they thought was best for their own health and done that. Imagine, and you know what's funny? I talked about all of this almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. If you go to my Sharpway show, the YouTube page, there's a specific playlist that says COVID-19 response March 2020. March 2020, I gave my plan. And my plan was not perfect. I only knew what I knew in March 2020. But if we followed my plans for March 2020, we'd have been way better than we are now. Because in the long run, everyone has to understand, COVID's not going anywhere. It's no longer a pandemic. It's an endemic. It's here. We're going to have it like the flu or whatever. It's going to be here. We have to find a way to survive with it. That was my entire plan from March 2020. Surviving in a contaminated environment. And how do we function and work and still do it? Figuring this out early on, so that within 6 months, we'd know how to handle it and there'd be less and less deaths and hopefully very few afterwards. We didn't do that. We did hit it with a stick, and we've taught the world, make a biological weapon and we'll collapse. That's what we've done. So I would actually ask the opposite. Yes. So the answers are better yet, stop paying our enemies, develop them for us. Yeah, both would be a good idea. I would take either one of those. Yes. Shelley says, $3 million for the homeless. Why do I expect that figure will drop to 2.2 million after she takes her cut? Maybe her share is a percentage. Well, here's the worst part, right? 3 million for homeless. Okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Are you telling me there aren't enough wealthy people in New York City to easily do that? In fact, to double, triple that if you gave them an incentive? Larry, what are you talking about? I don't know. How about you would say, hey, you could build Mr. or Mrs. Rich Guy, Rich Family. You have a fund or a trust, or you have, something like that. Why don't you build a series of tiny apartments / tiny houses in these areas with facilities inside for people to come by and help the homeless? Why would I do that? We'll put your name on it. Literally, we'll put your name on it. Larry, they wouldn't do that. They do it all the time. Literally, they do it all the time. Have you seen all the things in museums? Have you seen all the things in schools, colleges, universities? Wealthy families do that all the time. Literally, they spend millions, if not tens of millions, to get their name on stuff. That's a thing that they do. And we have literally tens of thousands of families like that in New York City. So instead of grifting $3 million that is going to fail miserably from the poor in New York City, you could simply ask a couple rich families to build out these actual shelters, these homes that would actually work with facilities, people, volunteers to go in and help these people for free. Put their name on it. They do it literally all the time. No taxes and actual things that will work. Well, Larry, what about all the red tape? They're wealthy. They're wealthy. They go to DOB and say, stop, Department of Buildings. They tell the mayor, shh. And if you're the mayor, stop with the red tape. Let the rich guy or gal write her check so her family can have her name on it. And now you've helped the homeless. I know, crazy, right? All I hear from people is the rich need to pay their fair share. That's all I ever talk about. I just do it without forcing them. I give them a reason to pay their fair share. They would love to put the name on something. They've solved homelessness. Yes, your family did. Clap, clap, clap. We'll clap and say you're amazing, but I don't care. It's fine. Homeless problem dealt with. Can be done. You're right, Charlie. This is all the grift. That's my problem. Yes. Valerie says, told my husband today about Tyrant Hochul's Vax van. He thought I was kidding. He recalled the old Far Side cartoon, which shows a Vax van that was disguised as an ice cream truck. Yes, that's right. Yes, I remember that one. It's so funny. Yes, that's good. Michael says, Larry, I love you, brother. You have the community's best interest at heart, and I commend you for that. Always have. Keep the fine work. Yes, Michael, and the reason why I do is when communities actually try to help, when they step up, they actually help. That's the issue. When the government steps up, it writes you a check, which is not a bad thing. I'm not against a check. But I'd rather have for someone who's in trouble a job and a home. They could go get their own checks then, right? How about a second chance at life? I'd like that. If someone has been an addict, someone's been in prison, someone's been in trouble, someone's been thrown out because they're LGBTQ and their family has abandoned them, which is a real thing again. You know what I'd like? To make them feel accepted in a home with other people who've been through similar things, who can accept them, talk to them, kind of get them through these things, and an opportunity to work for whatever they want to do to make their own money, their own checks, and then move forward. How about that? Maybe go back to school if they want to, or whatever is in their future. Way better than I'm going to write $3 million, give a check, and do some mentoring, whatever that means, which doesn't work. Yeah, I'm with you. I do think community is the answer. That's the piece. It is the answer. But the issue I want to bring up, if I can, is not just that. I want to go to something else if I could. He talks also about sanitation and things like that too. So let me grab some of the people he brings in. He brings up these other people. Let me grab it if I can show you what else he brings. This is all from him now, talking from his press conferences.
Young people who are living on the streets, young people are dealing with incredibly complex challenges.
Yep.
I want to thank her for the good work she and her colleagues do. She is the executive director of the Coalition for Homeless Youth. My pleasure to introduce Jamie Pavlovich.
Now, why does she care? Why would we bring this person in?
Thank you for that, and thank you for having me come to speak today.
Yep.
I
Now, here is my issue. I'm not against her at all. I believe in my heart that she wants to help. I don't know her personally. She might be a grifter, but I would bet that she wants to help. Most people who start these types of organizations really want to help. I bet her heart's in the right spot, but she probably doesn't know how to raise money. Most people who start nonprofits, and if you worked in a nonprofit, you know this, they struggle. Do the work, raise the money. They're almost like fighting each other, right? I don't want to raise the money, but I don't want to, right? They fight each other. If you work in a nonprofit, you know, do the work, raise the money, they fight each other. So she probably wants to do the work. And here comes the mayor. Hey, I'll write you a big check. You don't got to worry about the work of raising the money. And she goes, oh my God, it's amazing. I can go do all the work. He goes, yeah, you can. You can do all the work. Oh, by the way, here's all the strings. Here's every string. And she goes, but that's not how we really help, right? Those strings are going to make it hard for me to help. I'm going to mess up and it's going to be difficult. And he goes, yeah, but that's how you get the $1 million. And she goes, God, I want those $1 million. It's so hard to raise money. You know what? At least. And once she says at least, she's finished. Because the second she says, at least I'll do this, now the government owns her and runs her. And the next thing is the regular big donors walk away. Now you're stuck with government and government becomes your only donor. Now all you do all day is hire people to write grants for the government. So you become a facility that's all about checking a box to get paid. And what happens over time? You become an agency of the state, which is what she'll become soon if she isn't already. You become the agency of a state. All you do is ask for grants. You're all about checkboxing. You don't care if you help people anymore. That's what happens to so many of them. If you work with one, you realize that's what I'm talking about. So yes.
She, her, hers pronouns, and I'd like to start off by thanking you, Mayor DeBlasio and First Lady, for your commitment to the needs of youth experiencing homelessness in New York City.
Your commitment. What did he do? She got a check.
And again, specifically to the First Lady for your commitment to the needs of LGBTQ young people through the creation of the Unity Project.
There we go. The Unity Project.
Frame the issue and how important the Unity Works program will be to young people experiencing.
So I'm not mad at her. All I'm saying is the commitment doesn't mean me talking about it, making things easier for you, helping out the community. The commitment means thank you for your check. Again, not mad at her. She's trying to do the right thing. This is the wrong answer. And the worst part of all this now becomes the only way. And if anyone goes, you shouldn't give her a check, you become the bad guy. Look how evil you are. You don't want to give her a check. Why do you hate the LGBT community? No, I don't. I love them. Absolutely. I want to help them. I want to actually help them. And I want people to want to help them. This is the idea. If you can't get enough people to get together, if you give them an easy way of doing it to support the LGBT community, what's wrong with our society? Seriously. There are enough people in the GSM community who have gone through these problems, who have enough money, and people who are adjacent, who are allies, who care about the community, who would happily show up and help out and do things and give money and give time, of course. So why don't we make it easier for that to happen? You tell me there's nobody wealthy who wouldn't happily write a check for $3 million? Of course. There's no GSM people in the world who could write a check for $10 million? Of course. Of course there are. Why aren't we doing that? Instead, what do? Government gives money, holds strings. We vilify the wealthy instead of getting to give them money. and then no one gets helped. I want to actually help people. Yes. Yes. Voluntary and option taxation. Yes. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. Literally, you're on my side. Thank you. I realized that I thought, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Shelly says 36,800 people on YouTube. If we each throw $20 in this race, we have a good governor. She's right. So thank you, Shelly. I appreciate how you're thinking. Guys, like, comment, and share. Let people know. The problem is I get shadow banned constantly. You guys know it. You see it, right? You all of a sudden don't get any of my stuff. All of a sudden you can't see any of my posts. All of a sudden you can't see things all of a sudden. Yeah, that's what happens. All of a sudden you just can't see things. That's shadow banning. That's what shadow banning is all about. So you have to like, comment, and share to get around that so people can see this. And of course, I'm asking you, donate. If you've got some time, you've got some money, you've got something, throw me a couple bucks. It does matter. And as I said, I have a donor. The Honorable Judge Jim Gray is going to be matching the first $2,500 that comes in up to Friday at noon. So if you guys can put that money together, he will double it. Larry, why do you need so much money? I told you already, but I tell you again, I got to buy ads. I got to buy polling. I got to make things happen. Otherwise, I'm not going to have to deal with my plans. And as I mentioned with my plans, one part of my plan, as I mentioned, is running in the Republican primary as a libertarian. If this happens, some of you have asked, what's the power of this? If I raise enough money to where I can run in the primary and I win the primary, I want you to think about something. I'd be listed Republican, I'd be listed Libertarian, I'd be listed Conservative. 3 lines on each of those, 3 of them. Larry Sharp, Larry Sharp, Larry Sharp. People will go, wait a minute. This guy's got a shot to actually change New York State. He's got a chance to turn New York State gold. He's got a chance to actually win this damn thing and to beat the Democratic Party that's been have a death grip on this state for the past 20 years, the establishment for 20 years. Think about how much money will flow into the state for me. Yeah. Think about how much money will flow into the state for me. Think about how many ads we could actually buy, how much polling we could do. Think about how many events we could do. Think about the amount of online presence we could have when all that money comes flowing and going, oh my God, there's an actual chance. Right now, there's not a lot of money coming to this state. Why? They know there's no chance of victory. They know that. Everyone knows that. There's no chance of a Republican winning the state. They know that. But Larry Sharp, wait a minute. That guy gets Democrats to vote for. Yeah, that guy motivates the youth to show up. That guy gets guys who wouldn't vote to vote. He just needs about 25% of Democrats to vote for him, and that guy could win. If we put a couple $1 million into him to focus on Democrats more than anything, to get them to understand that this is the way you can get rid of the death grip of your party, this becomes a winnable race. Imagine the amount of money that comes in. I'll go one step further. What if we get the forward line? Now we have every independent. All the people who thought Bernie was cool, Trump was cool, Yang was cool, Tulsi Gabbard was cool. Everyone who thought the rebel was cool, right? Whether you're left, right, middle, whatever you might be. If you thought the rebel was cool, the Forward Party represents that. All of those people go, wait a minute. We can get a rebel up here? We can get a real third party backed by Yang that would actually affect people? We can get libertarians, a real third party? We can actually have 4 third parties across this state, 4 parties across the state? 4 parties across this country? Think about the amount of money that will come flowing in. And I'll go one step further. That money's awesome. Good. That will help tremendously. But think about all the press that will happen. Think about all the press that will come down. And if you know libertarians, can you think of someone else who's been able to get in the press as much as I've had, do this stuff live as much as I've done, and not put my foot in my mouth? Wouldn't that be nice? And not put my foot in my mouth. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, this is a plan that can work. It's a plan that matters. Please like, comment, and share. And now head over to LarrySharp.com/donate. Give what you can give because it's getting matched. I have a donor who will match it up to $2,500. So please give what you can right now. If you're saying, Larry, I'd love to give you tons of money. I don't have it. Okay, do a monthly donation. $10 a month, $50 a month, whatever you can do. I'm asking you for 1 year. I'm saying that I'm prepared to give you a year. 1 year. I'll give you a year of my life. I'll get back on the road. I'll get back out on TV. I'll go get beat up again. I'll go back on all the shows. I'll go get smacked around again. I'll do it. I will sacrifice, not be with my family. I'll travel the state. I'll do it again. I will sacrifice for a year. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you, sacrifice with me. I'm prepared to bleed for this state. Bleed with me. That's what I'm saying. Larry, I got family. Me too. Larry, I got a job. I got bills. Me too. Not just you. You, yes, and me. Larry, I need my sanity. Me too. It's not just you. We're all in the same boat here. You might go, Larry, I don't live in your state. Why do I care about New York? You know why you care about New York. I live in the belly of the beast. AOC is my congressperson. I live in the belly of the beast. If we change New York State, we change the nation. That's no hyperbole. That's reality, and you know it. And you know it. We change this state, we change the nation. Overnight. Overnight. That's why it matters. Well, Larry, I don't live in New York. It's not coming to me. Yeah, it is. Maybe not tomorrow. Depends where you live. If it's Jersey, it's tomorrow. Right? If you live in New Jersey, it's tomorrow. Connecticut, it's tomorrow. But if you don't, maybe you live in Oklahoma. Okay, it's 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But it's coming to you. Utah, it's probably 20. But anyway, it's still coming to you. The question is when? It's coming to you. Whatever happens here is coming to you. Change it here. We beat them here. We hold them here. The whole country. This does matter. LarrySharpe.com/donate. Give what you can give. Larry, do I really want to give to you again? Yeah. Yes. Why? You have seen what I've been doing. You're not blind. You're watching this now. You know what I do. You've seen me. You've seen me go through literally 5 years of this. You've seen me do this. Since 2016, I've been doing this. You've watched me for 5 years. You know I don't stop. You know I keep going. You know the money you give me, it's literally posted, right? You can see it. Comes out quarterly. You see where it goes. It goes to pushing liberty. That's where it goes. It goes to pushing the libertarian message. That's where it goes. You see it. That's what I do. It's open. If you donate now, you'll see that too. And I'm telling you where it's going to go. It's going to go to ads and polling and all the things that we need to win this damn race and to make the most impact we possibly can make. If you're watching me, then you know this. The window for change is closing. We have to jump through. I broke a hole in 2018, and the government closed that hole. The hole was too small. It was too small a hole. I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, and energy, and broke a hole, and the government closed it right back up the next year. Took away our ballot access, took that hole right away, right back up. I got to make a bigger hole, one they can't close. And when that hole's big enough, the team that we build will allow others to rush right through. You know that I support people when I'm not running. Many of you watching, I've supported. You've seen me do it. I help raise money for people. I mentor people. I help people go through issues. You know that. So I make a big hole. Others rush through it. They can't close it anymore. They can't close it. We can do this. Please like, comment, and share. Let people know. Donate now. LarrySharpe.com. Give what you can. If you got big bucks, I hope you all have deep pockets and lots of money. I hope you all do. And if you do, throw a bunch of money my way if you have that. Throw me $500, $1,000. If you've got it, do it. If you've got it, give me $5,000 if you can do it. If you've got it. You don't have it, no worries. $100 is fine. No worries. All good. You can't do that? Do a monthly. $100 a month, $10 a month, $50 a month. Whatever you can swing. It matters. Larry, times and stuff. I know. Me too. That's all I can tell you. Me too. I'm going to bleed. Bleed with me. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to bleed. Bleed with me. Some of you can bleed $5 a month. That's good. Take it. Some of you can bleed $500 a month. Even better. I'm going to bleed a whole lot because while I'm doing this, I'm not working. You see this behind me? This is my company. This is what I do for a living. This is how I make my money and pay my bills. I live in New York City. I have 2 kids. My wife doesn't work. So you can imagine what my bills are. You imagine how much money I have to generate. Well, I won't be generating that money, will I? So I'll be bleeding. Bleed with me. I always say this, and I mean it. I don't point my finger at you until I point it at me first. Well, I've pointed it at me. Now I'm pointing it at you. You care? Good. Do something. I'm doing something. You do something too. Let me keep going down if I could keep this going here. Yes. Let's see here. Please run louder, get your mess up. Thank you, brother. I'm trying to. Absolutely. Yes. Valerie says, Hochul's Cuomo-esque daily show today. She spoke up getting every child vax in her vax. I know. If she gets her way, there will be no choice. We have no idea what the long-term effects are on children. Damn Nazi Hochul. My problem here is that most New Yorkers are behind her. That's my problem, Valerie. I'm not shocked when the government tries to be overbearing. They're government. That's what government does, right? They're overbearing. That's what they do. We shouldn't be saying yes to it. And your note right there, I'm sorry, your icon that says this ends when we all say no is correct. And we're not. Why? Because we require a leader to validate our no. I know that sounds silly, Valerie. I know it does. It's human nature. When there is an executive, a mayor, a governor, a county executive, a county leader, someone who's an executive who says, stop, no, what are you doing? When someone does that, people get behind that person. Sadly, we rarely get behind senators or assemblymen or congressmen. It's rare that we do. But executives, we get behind. We need more executives to do that. I will do that. That I become the banner you can get behind. That's the issue. Yes. So, Lila says, hate to say this, you are our exemplary of hope. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying my best. Absolutely. I'm trying to go. Yes. Ryan says, I already renamed my bowling team from Cuomo's Gotta Go League Champs to Sharp for Governor. Ryan, thank you, my friend. It was good seeing you, by the way. It was good seeing you. I appreciated the time that you spent. Yes, absolutely. So that's good. Sam says, I like Jim Gray. Me too. I'm a big fan of Jim Gray. My first vote, libertarian vote, was in 2012, and it was for the Gary Johnson, Jim Gray ticket. So yeah, I'm a Jim Gray fan. I know some people don't like him. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So Dan says, Jim Gray was my first true libertarian, introduction to libertarianism thought. Yes. He and Ron Paul completely shifted my political thinking. Thank you. I'm a big fan too. Like that. Yes, absolutely. So, are you more libertarian than anything? Not even close. Yes. Not even close. Yes. If you take any time looking at how I think on policies, right? My policies always have 4 things, 4 rules when I put my policies together. Number 1, no new taxes, fees, or fines, ever. Every policy you've seen, if you go to LarrySharp.com, it's full of policies. None of them have any new taxes, fines, or fees. Nothing. That's a rule we can't get by. Second, no force. Everything I just told you, no one's forced to do anything. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I create a better environment so it makes sense for you to do it. So you say, you know what? This makes sense. I'm going to go do that. You choose to do so. That's number 2. Number 3, I always focus on helping the middle class and the working poor. If you focus on helping those 2, they will always, by default, build communities that will help the very poor. That's how it works. Who are the people who actually go to the soup kitchens and make things happen? It's the very poor. It's the working poor and the middle class. They're the ones who help out the very poor. They're the ones who give second chances to the very poor. They're the ones who assist. It's what they do. Support them, and they'll be fine. The wealthy are good. They don't need me. They're fine. They don't need me already, right? They control stuff. So I don't worry about the wealthy at all. I worry specifically about the middle class and the working poor. You have a better middle class and a better working poor, you have a better society. That's how that works. 4th, whenever it comes to businesses, I always focus on assisting the entrepreneur class over the corporate class. The corporate class cares about bottom line, being sued, big stuff in the world, stuff like that. But the entrepreneur class cares about where they came from, which is usually middle class or working poor. So they will also help out. And they're the ones who give people second chances. And they're the ones who innovate. and they're the ones who make things better for everybody, and they're the ones who can knock down the monopolies. So all about that. You do that, you will have a better society. You'll have a better environment. So yes, I hope I answered your question. Yes. So, all right, if I keep going here. Where am I here? Let's see. Wow, you guys keep going. I love that. Pete says, would you get Republican money? Yes, that's true. Larry says, love your plan. Thank you. I'm trying myself very much. Pete says, everyone donate $2K now. Yes, if you've all got $2,000, please donate. I hope you all have $2K to donate. That'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. Please do that. That'd be awesome. Follow what Pete says. Everybody donate $2,000 now. Awesome. Yes. Shelly says, working family lines are nice too. Yes, the odds of me getting that line are slim, but I would be happy to take every line I could possibly get, right? Every line I could possibly get. Grace says, you are getting seriously shadow banned on Facebook all the time. I have to find another place of doing something. I have to. It is so hard because I get shadow banned constantly. It's so hard. That's why I bug you all the time. Like, comment, share. I don't do that because I'm trying to get more people as subscribers. I want that, but I just want people to see it. And Facebook literally shuts me down. So thank you very much. Yes. All right. Keep going here. Gary Johnson, Jim Gray, awesomeness. Thank you. I love that. Yes. So Gab or Parlor. That's funny. No, I'm actually going to Locals, I think, right now is where I'm heading now. I'm already on Locals with Larry Sharp. I am on Locals right now. I'm also on MeWe, which is not that popular, but I am on MeWe also. So I'm going to different places because I have to be on multiple. It's the only way I can do it. So yeah. Logic says we have so much more momentum now. Yes, that's true also. From my eyes, the LP seems to be growing a lot. Yep. Especially here, I think conservatives are done with the rhinos. I think also true. Yes, absolutely. Dustin says, I donated in Bitcoin. Thank you, Dustin. Absolutely. Please, please, please. Yes, I love that. 100%. Yes. Ryan says, Spike Coden couldn't hide his gayness endorsing Larry Sharp for governor. I know. Spike and I get along. Absolutely. Yes, we're friends. We get along. Absolutely. Yes. Thomas says, yes, Larry, I just donated. Thank you. When will you be in Webster, Penfield, Rochester, New York? I was just in Rochester. I'm heading Webster. Ooh, I'll be close next week. I think I'll be close. Yeah, I'll be close next week. So if you want to go to LarrySharp.com, click my events, and my list of events is there. So yes, absolutely. Tom says, I spent my allowance on Larry this month. I will catch him again next month. Thank you, Tom. Yes, that's totally fine. Tom, thank you. And I've never donated to anyone before. Tom, you're the man. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you. 100%. So yes, absolutely. If you can do it every month, awesome. Love it. So bleed for Larry of October. Thank you. I love that. Yes. Ryan says, imagine what a Sharp New York would do for libertarianism everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. The KMG says, which is precisely why they stole California from Elder. Let me tell you what happened in California, which will happen in New York too, to be very clear. Trump does one thing very well for Democrats, and that is unite them and make them scared. Democrats don't have good answers. That's true. So what will Democrats do? How do they get the Democrats out to vote when they don't have good answers? Fear. See, Trump is coming back and he's going to kill you. Orange man bad. It's all terrible. And Democrats come out and vote. It's what happens. It happened in California. Prior to Larry Elder being the leader of the pack, most Democrats in California, they were asleep. They didn't care. They're like, whatever, I don't care. They don't like Newsom. They don't like him either. No one likes Newsom. They don't like him. They were like, whatever. But then when Elder came out, every Democratic strategist said, turn him into Trump. Make him Black Trump. And they just made him Black Trump. They called it the Republican recall. By the way, brilliant marketing. Utterly false. However, brilliant marketing. I got to give credit where credit is due. I still respect the game, even though it was a lie. But great marketing. Republican recall. He loves Trump. Big Trump supporter. Trump. And the Democrats went, whoa, Trump is back? We got to vote. Oh my God, Trump is back. And they all rushed out and voted. And that's why in a 3-1 Democrat to Republican state, or 2-1 for them, that's what happens. New York State's worse, 3-1. Any Republican who gets elected is going to be Trump. And all the Democrats come out to vote against for him. And it's just 3-1 Democrat to Republican. That's why Republicans cannot win a statewide election in this state. They can win locally. Republicans win locally in New York all the time. There's actually more Republican counties than there are Democrat counties in New York State. I know people might be shocked at that. We're a blue state because of our large cities that are heavily blue. But you leave the cities, and New York State is actually very red outside the cities. So there's actually more counties that are red than blue. However, big however here, statewide, if you count all the state, the cities completely outgun all of the smaller counties. You just completely outgun them. It's not even close. I mean, New York City is about now probably about a third to a half of the population of New York City, of New York State. So totally outgunned. So you have to get Democrats to vote for you, not against you. Elder was not good at that. The Democrats were very good at that. And that's the issue. So, yes. Let's see here. Grace says, Larry, you put on a great show, far better than anything on cable news. If you can get enough media attention, you can win this thing. I agree. Yes. Bleed out. Don't bleed out, Pete. No. No. Don't bleed out. Do what Tom said. Don't bleed out. Just have your allowance for me. Don't bleed out. Have your allowance for me monthly, whatever that is. Do that. Follow Tom's example. Do not bleed out, Pete. That is a bad idea. Don't do that. Little by little, give what you can give. That's the piece. All right. All right. Yes. Thank you. Don't bleed out. It's a bad idea. Yes. All right. So you mentioned if you run D, R, or D, they can't keep you out of debates. There, Ryan, was my last piece. Thank you. I will now talk about the last piece. If I win the Republican nomination, they can't keep me out of debates because the Republican will have to debate, of course. And if I debate the Democrat will walk away crying. Male or female, doesn't matter. That person will walk away crying. It will be horrible. They will be embarrassed. There is no way that they can do anything except be embarrassed. If I were them, I wouldn't debate me because it will be better to not debate me and feel like they're scared of me than debate me and be slaughtered. They would be slaughtered. It would be embarrassing. So if I was the campaign manager of whoever the Democrat is, I would say, stop coughing because you're sick. You're not going to debate stage with Sharp. He's going to figuratively murder you on that stage. So don't go. That's what I would say. But the other piece is, even if they don't do it, I mean, they might do it out of just hubris. Who's this Larry Sharp guy? I'll beat him up. I guess they could do that. They want to. But even if they don't do that, you also can't keep me out of the polls anymore. All the polling would have to be there. So now I get polling and I get debates. You are right, Ryan. This is another reason why I want to do it this way. Polling and debates. There's an actual chance of victory. And even if I don't win, oh my God, the amount of impact that we will have in this state, they'll make other people. We'll have better Democrats and better Republicans. And how do I know this? Let me tell you why. When I ran last time, and some of you will enjoy this, a little bit inside baseball, but I think you'll get this. When I ran last time, no one cared about me. Didn't care at all. Republicans ignored me. Democrats ignored me. Who's this Larry Sharp? Who cares? Then one thing happened, and some of you remember this. The Republican was in Western New York. And when he was in Western New York, he's being interviewed by a bunch of people doing an event. And one of the interviewers said, "Hey, how are you going to handle how are you going to handle Western New York? This is Sharp country out here." And after that happened, all of a sudden, the Republican Party got another $1 million put into the campaign. And all of a sudden, I got attacked. I was anti-cop, anti-gun. I was a Cuomo plant. Let me remember that. Because when that happened, they realized, Larry's growing, punish him. Well, now a similar thing's happening. And it's not a negative thing. They know that if I run, I'm going to suck up a bunch of votes, no matter what I do. If I just run as libertarian, I'll get 5 to 7 to 10% just running a straight libertarian. They know that. And if you know anybody in the business, ask your Republican colleagues, your Democrat colleagues who are doing polling, who know me, they will say, yeah, that's about what I was going to get. They already assume that. Well, Democrats right now aren't concerned. They still believe it doesn't matter. They're going to win by 30 points or 20 points. If Larry takes 10 points, who cares? Doesn't matter. Republicans aren't so easy. They're more concerned. One of the reasons why I'm considering running in the primary is a whole lot of Republicans reaching out to me going, Larry, what are you going to do? Larry, are you running? Larry, what's going to happen? They're concerned. They're concerned because they know that now I come with a whole lot more percentage, a whole lot more name recognition. And to be forward, I have more name recognition than most of the other people running. I told this story last night, but I'll tell it again today because it's such a great story. Yesterday, I'm making phone calls and I'm trying to call people. I'm asking people what I'm asking you. Literally, I'm on the phone asking people, what do you think? Should I do this? What do you think? I'm literally doing that. I've been doing it for a couple of days now. Yesterday, I'm on the phone doing that. And I called the wrong number. I called some guy. I didn't know. I thought it was some guy. And I'm like, hey, so-and-so, I want to ask some questions about you. Supported me. I want to ask some questions about what do you think about this, that, this. And the guy's like, oh, who's this? And I said, Larry Sharp. Oh, Larry Sharp. I said, how many Larry Sharps you know? He said, only one. I said, well, that's me. That's the one. How many Larry Sharps can you possibly know? It isn't that common of a name. He said, no, I know who you are. I'm like, okay, great. So I start talking to him like he's the guy I called. He wasn't. He was listening. We talked about his kids. We kept talking. If you guys know me, I can talk, right? This is a skill set I have. I can yap. So we're talking. And in the end, he goes, yeah, but Larry, I'm not that guy. I'm like, what? He goes, I'm so-and-so. I'm gonna call him Dan. It wasn't Dan. He goes, I'm Dan. And I'm like, oh, Dan, how do I know you? He goes, you don't. I'm like, did I call the wrong number? He's like, yeah. I'm like, wow, okay. Now, we kept talking. Here's the funny part. I called a random dude in New York and he knew who I was and had a conversation with me. I think I have name recognition. And I had a witness to this, by the way. I had a witness. So it wasn't just me talking trash. I have a witness on this one. I just think that that's an important piece. So, yes, you're right, Ryan. There's so much that we can do. Larry Sharp is a professional wrestler, too. Not anymore. Larry Sharp, who was Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, passed away in 2018. So no longer. He actually had a thing called the Larry Sharp's Monster Factory. Larry Sharp wasn't his real name. It was his stage name. He picked Sharp as his name. His name was actually Larry Wheel. And then he picked Larry Sharp because he thought it was cool. I agree. It is a cool name. So he picked that. So he is now, he is no longer with us. He passed away in 2018. So yes. Anyway, yes. Let's see here. Where can I do this? Also, he says the Republicans endorse you. You can appeal to moderate Democrats. That's true. I think I can. Yes, absolutely. I think that's true. So, yeah. All right. Where am I here? Ryan says, I hope you post a tweet about Judge Gray's match. I will do that soon. Absolutely. Yes, I will do that. 100%. I will do that soon. I'll have the team do that. Team, you're paying attention, I'm sure. Yes. Matthew says, Larry, I'm an independent trucker. I once made the mistake of driving on the GW Bridge in New York City and was told by the price of the toll. Yes. Matthew, yes. I bring this up. People don't know this. I used to be an independent trucker too. One of my business, I thought my mother was trucking business. We had one truck and one step van. So for small jobs, we had a step van, and bigger jobs, we had a truck. So we had two vehicles. We used to cross those bridges. Some people don't know this. When you're a truck and you cross a bridge, you pay by the axle. You don't pay a flat fee. You pay by the axle. You're an 18-wheeler? That's a lot of axles. So that's $15 or $18 times each axle to cross one bridge. Some of you are falling out of your seat right now. Yeah, imagine you got 5 axles times 18 to cross one bridge. That's almost $100 to cross a bridge. And if you're an independent trucker like Matthew is, that comes out of your pocket. That's out of your pocket. Your company's not paying for that. That's you out of your pocket. Yeah. That's why I talked about, if you can imagine, if you actually had naming rights on those bridges and there was no tolls, Matthew just saves $100 every time he crosses that bridge. $100 every time he crosses that bridge. And so does every company that crosses that bridge, because they're paying. If it's not independent, the company's paying. So they're saving $100 if they're going to cross that bridge. So now they can maybe pay their truckers more, or buy newer trucks, or lower the prices to you and me, or something, right? I don't know how Matthew's business model works. Either he's going to take that money and put it in his pocket, good for him, or he's going to be able to lower his prices and get more business, or he's going to do something. He'll do something with that $100 that's not giving it to the government, right? And whatever he does, good. If he takes his family and friends out for a nice dinner, good, whatever. But he'll do something other than give it to the government, which, Matthew, I'm on board. Whatever you do, better than giving it to the government. So, yes, 100%. I'm just doing an interview with Dr. Boyce Watkins. I actually met him. We were on a panel together at the Solutionary Summit in Miami. Yeah, in Miami this summer. So yes, that's a good idea. I think I will reach out to him. That's a good idea. I think I will reach out to him. Yes. Lepke, Larry, have you considered writing articles, doing shorter videos on a single subject, like your take on systemic racism? Yes, I will. Absolutely. You know, I did it last time. Was Larry Sharp on the issues, and I will do each of them separately. But again, that takes time and energy. And right now, I'm still making phone calls. So when I'm done, I will begin to do that. Yes, absolutely. I am in the process of doing that too. Guys, I'll ask you if you want me to do that, and I know you do, right? I know you do. I need help. It can't just be me. I need help. So please like, comment, and share. I know I keep saying it because it matters. I'm being shadow banned. Please do it. Click that like, click that share button, and donate. If you have already, awesome. If you haven't, donate. LarrySharp.com. Larry, I don't have much cash. $5 is fine. Do $5 a month. Larry, I'm loaded. I got tons of money. I hope you all do. Give me $1,000 a month because you got tons of money. I hope you do. Why would anybody want to give me $1,000? Why in the world would you do that? Because I'll spend it to move this campaign forward. That's why. I'll spend that money for liberty better than you will. And that sounds brash and full of hubris, but you've seen me do it in the past. You've seen me fail in the past, and you see I'm still here. I've learned lessons. If I hadn't learned lessons, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm telling you now. Clearly, I've learned lessons. For those of you who know this, and many of you out there listening do, sometimes getting your ass kicked can really teach you some lessons. Those are lessons you remember. I remember my lessons. So yeah, I'm going to remember this. I know how this works. I've been through this before. The team I had has been through this before. So yes, if you care about moving this country forward and you have the means, you should give me $1,000 a month. Yes, because that will move this country forward better. If you did that, $12,000 over the course of this entire year, that is literally a commercial campaign. That is a marketing campaign in an area of upstate New York, maybe all Western New York, Central New York, North Country. That's what that is. How many people would hear my message and see me with that kind of money? That's what you'll get. The best part is whatever we make stays on the internet forever. And what does that mean? That means other libertarian candidates are going to see what I've done and go, ooh, I want that. They're going to copy and take and share, and they're going to be better. We are building infrastructure for our movement. LarrySharp.com is literally a policy library. It's a libertarian policy library. I would argue the only one. I would argue the only libertarian policy library there is. And that was built for my last campaign. Imagine what I build this time. Imagine what I build this time. How many people have been using those policies running, have been copying those policies while they're running? Tons. Tons. We'll build more, use more, have more available for people in the future. So LarrySharp.com/donate. Donate what you can donate, whatever that is. If you've got big dollars, send me big dollars. If you don't have big dollars, send me little dollars. Whatever you can, please do that. It does matter. That's why I'm doing this. It does matter. And the best part, as I mentioned, a match. Judge Jim Gray is going to match $2,500 up till Friday at noon. He's matching it. If we can get that amount of money, it's doubled. Yeah. Do that twice. I got to ad campaign. Ad campaign set. Done. Already done. So please, please, please make sure that whatever you can do, but don't do what Pete says. Don't bleed out. That's a bad idea. Don't listen to Pete. Listen to Pete on other things, not on this. Listen to Tom instead. Tom is saying he did his allowance for this month, and then he'll go next month. Do that. I don't want you bleeding out. I do want you bleeding. I'm bleeding, but I'm not going to bleed out. I'm going to bleed. I'm not going to bleed out. Please don't bleed out. Bleed just enough. There we go. Guys, thank you so much for today. I hope it was clear. I hope it made sense what I'm talking about. I hope you'll stand by me in this. Help me out. You see what I'm doing. You see where I've been. You see where I'm going. Get behind me, and we can change things. Have a great night. I will see you all very soon. By the way, tomorrow I am in Staten Island. Thursday, I am in Nassau. So if you're downstate, a little downstate stuff going on this week, I'm back upstate in 2 weeks. See you guys very soon.